Ever been worried about your health to the point where no amount of reassurance can really help? Have you ever been so anxious about your health that you've Googled symptoms or become overly concerned about small aches and pains that, logically, aren't life-threatening? If so, you might be experiencing a bout of health anxiety. What's up, guys? Welcome to another week's episode of Get Psyched. This week, we're diving into the topic of health anxiety, what it is, how it works, and how my experience as a psychologist has helped me understand what it takes to overcome it. What is health anxiety? Health anxiety is when otherwise healthy individuals excessively worry about their health, despite having no medical reason to do so. For example, someone might experience very minor aches or pains, or even no symptoms at all, but still feel overwhelmed by the fear that something is seriously wrong. To outsiders, this might seem excessive. But for people with health anxiety, the stress, fear, and worry can be completely debilitating. They might believe they have a serious, undiagnosed illness, even after receiving medical reassurance. How common is it? Health anxiety is more widespread than many people realize. Around 12% of the general population will experience a significant episode of health anxiety at some point. While general anxiety can involve multiple worries, health anxiety is specifically focused on physical health and can become just as crippling, if not more so. Why reassurance doesn't help? One of the frustrating parts of health anxiety is that reassurance often doesn't work. People with health anxiety may logically understand that they're healthy. They might even hear it directly from a doctor. But the lingering doubt, what if they missed something, can override logic completely. For example, someone might fear they'll drop dead from a brain aneurysm. You can tell them how rare that is, and how unlikely it is to happen. But because it can happen, even if rarely, that tiny possibility becomes a huge emotional burden. The problem with repeated testing. Another issue is the reliance on medical testing as a coping mechanism. It might seem logical to get checked regularly, just to be sure, but this actually feeds the anxiety. When someone believes that only a medical test can confirm they're healthy, they may begin to rely on constant doctor visits, checkups, and tests. One test might bring temporary relief, but soon after, the anxiety returns, prompting another test. This creates a cycle that reinforces the belief that something must be wrong. The thin line between awareness and anxiety. Here's where things get tricky. It is important to be mindful of your health. If a minor pain persists for weeks or worsens, of course it's appropriate to seek medical advice. That's rational concern. But health anxiety kicks in when worry is out of proportion to the actual risk, especially when there are no real symptoms. So, how do we tell the difference between being health conscious and having health anxiety? Signs of health anxiety. Feeling unwell without any symptoms. People with health anxiety don't always need symptoms to feel something is wrong. Reassurance doesn't help, even after a clear diagnosis, the fear persists. Obsessively Googling symptoms. With so much information online, it's easy to spiral. A mild symptom can look like a life-threatening illness within minutes. Life starts to shrink, avoiding social events, staying home just in case, or checking the body multiple times a day are all signs that anxiety is becoming life-limiting. Where does health anxiety come from? The origins are often personal and complex. Some people develop health anxiety after surviving a traumatic medical experience. Others may have witnessed a loved one go through serious illness or unexpected medical emergencies. Media can also play a role. News about rare diseases, social media posts, or health-related content can trigger intense anxiety. During the COVID-19 pandemic, for instance, health anxiety spiked worldwide, highlighting the role that public messaging and media exposure can play in mental health. So, how do we overcome it? There's no single solution, but one of the most effective approaches is exposure therapy, or more specifically, progressive desensitization. For example, if someone fears having a heart attack whenever their heart rate rises, we might encourage them to go for a brisk walk. When their heart rate goes above 120 beats per minute and nothing bad happens, they begin to realize their fear isn't grounded in reality. This process is gradual and must be done with care. But over time, it helps retrain the brain to stop associating normal bodily sensations with imminent danger.